quiz. We can just kind of run through it. And if you have any questions as we go through the answers, just feel free to ask me, okay? So the most traditional way for an overweight person to lose weight is, does anybody know?
Follow a calorie controlled diet.
A calorie controlled diet, correct. What diet kit would you use for a person who is on a low calorie diet?
Say yellow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yellow is the one for diabetes.
For diabetes, okay. And what is part of that kit? Because I've never worked in food service kitchen, so can you guys tell me a little bit about that specific diet kit? What does it
A
contain?
regular kit is green, and it has regular sugar, pepper, and salt.
Okay.
A yellow kit is for diabetics, so we have artificial sugar, salt, and pepper. A gray kit's for cardiac. It doesn't have any salt, but it has a like Mrs. Dash packet,
Okay.
sugar and pepper. And the orange kit, help me out.
Orange kit is
Has
Like the yellow one.
substitute, salt also.
substitute salt, substitute sugar.
So you don't choose.
So it's a
Sugar.
combination
It's a
of
combination
low
of
sugar and low salt.
Okay,
Okay.
so there's 4 of them.
Okay. Well, thank you. I learned something. Okay, so when you're preparing meals for a patient on a low-calorie diet, you want to try to avoid cooking with what? An example of those are butter, oil, fats. Okay. Does anybody know what you would use in exchange for those fats? Good example.
Margarine.
Yeah. So margarine, usually has a lot of trans fats, correct, in it, so you don't want to use that. What about like a cooking spray? It's usually a good example. Yeah. Okay. Meat intake should be no more than how many ounces per day for a person on a calorie restricted diet? 6. And so I brought this little thing here. Does anybody know how many ounces this is? This is 3 ounces, and this is also 3 ounces, not stuffed, correct? So about 2 of those for the whole day. Using the exchange list, meals usually have how many carbohydrate points per meal? 3 to 4, yeah, depending on which calorie level you have. Which of the following desserts contain 1 carb point? 1 cup of chocolate ice cream, a half a cup of plain ice cream, a cup of Jell-O, or a half a cup of low-fat pudding?
B. That's the only one.
Yep, and that's about that size, with or without a cone. Does anyone know? Would you serve this in an ice cream cone or not?
No ice cream cone, just that.
Great. Which of the following soups contain 1 carb point? Vegetable, beef, barley, chicken, or all of the above?
A and B.
Yeah, all of them do. Yep. Yep.
That's half.
Is it?
Yeah, chicken rice is half. Yeah, chicken rice.
Yeah, 1 cup, no cup.
I mean,
Oh,
Is it?
Yeah, in a Campbell's soup, it would be 1.
Okay.
But in the military recipes, it's a half.
Okay.
So it's A and B.
So,
How about the big bread?
yeah.
Isn't that carb also?
Yeah.
I don't have that one. I don't have that. So is it just
Yeah,
a
that's
vegetable? Or is it beef and barley? Okay. If a patient is put on an 1,800 calorie diet, how many carb exchanges would they be allowed per meal?
Susan, we don't use that anymore, right? The calorie, the 1800, we just follow the 444.
Yeah.
I think,
Oh, the 4442 is
Yeah.
for consistent carb.
okay, so this
But
one,
this may change when we get the interaction with the centrist and comp nutrition. It's probably going to change.
okay, so the question now, we don't have a, okay, but remember we used to have that one, the 1800, 2400, we don't have that pattern anymore.
No, so,
Yeah.
so there's a sheet
Yeah.
attached.
Okay,
So, those of you who have the answer sheet.
Yeah.
We need to go to the sheet that's attached to that.
It's this one. If anybody needs it, I have it. I have an extra.
And the nutrition care manual,
Yep.
that,
The ones
It's
from
the from the
nutrition
ADA.
care manual.
This one.
do I don't
No, we don't have.
You don't have it? I have extras if you guys need one.
okay, we need
Okay.
one.
So who needs one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Kunin mo sa akin yung ano, ang listahan.
Oh,
Yung
it's
listahan ng diet, yung mga pag-
I'll get it back.
Okay.
You have one,
Yes.
please? Thank you.
Thank you.
The one?
It's attached to the back here.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
So, right now, when they give us the diet, just say carbohydrate, diabetic.
Yeah, well,
no
right
more-
now it says consistent carb, but in
Yeah.
the future, when
Yeah,
it's
change it.
integrated, there's gonna be calorie levels added to
Yeah.
the choices that the doctors can order. And I haven't seen the exact patterns on Comp Nutrition, but I think it's probably the same as in our
The
manual.
one.
Okay.
It's
So,
gonna be 4 carbs.
right.
So it's still 4
3 to 4, yeah. 3 to 4 is a good range. And what if, and how many per day total?
12.
12, okay.
Yeah, once in a while we get that 800.
Now, what about a patient who's on a 1,500 calorie diet? How many carb exchanges per meal and then also per day
Like 3,
4.
for a 1,500 calorie diet?
so that's 3.
2 to 3, yeah. 2 to 3 per meal and then 11 for the day, the whole day.
2 to 3.
Yep. And I think that's kind of what we were talking about earlier. If you have a patient and they want, if you have a patient and they're requesting 2% milk, and you need to call a dietitian or you need to call Susan, she can say, yeah, they can have that, but you've got to exchange it for something else later in their meal.
Yeah, we do something else.
Yeah.
Because it's not on a straight calorie, it's not always a carb counting, it's a calorie counting. So we can diminish a portion of something.
So this is 3.
Oh, we didn't get to that one yet, but patients on a low-calorie diet are not allowed snacks. Is that true or false?
False.
Good. Okay. And can you guys give me some examples of what type of snacks they would be allowed to eat?
Yeah.
fresh vegetables, fresh fruit, fat-free cheese, fat-free yogurt, fat-free milk.
If you're preparing breakfast for a patient on a 1,500 calorie diet, what would be an example of an appropriate amount of carbohydrates allowed for breakfast? Sausage and eggs, cinnamon roll and orange juice, 1 slice of toast, 6 ounces of light yogurt and 1 orange, or 1 egg, an English muffin, and 2 hash browns.
C. Yes.
And so I brought the toast, and this was kind of a question I had earlier for Susan. If you have 2 pieces of bread and they're low-fat bread, then they count for 1 carb exchange. But if you have like 1 piece of Wonder Bread or not a low-fat bread, it's 2 carb exchanges.
Yeah, it's like Diet Wonder Bread. You have them, they're a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
We don't have them in the kitchen, but on the outside, people can get Diet Bread where the calories are only like 40 calories a slice.
Yeah,
It's just
Yep.
extremely thin bread.
that's pretty thin. Okay, so do you guys have any questions from the quiz or from the handout that you guys have for us?
So I think the biggest change on weight control for us is gonna be when they integrate a centrist with the Comp Nutrition. And then you're gonna get more, you're gonna have various calorie level orders more again than you have been getting just consistent carb. So that's gonna change.
Does anybody know how many carb exchanges a baked potato is? Because I didn't know this morning.
That big one?
The big one.
That looks like a large.
Take 2.
I think that's
I'd say
2.
Good job. Yeah, it's 2.5, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd say about
Yeah.
3.
Yep, 2.5. So it's pretty interesting to me. Let's see. So I just have a couple other questions and then we'll be all done. What are some challenges that you guys have or that you faced when you're preparing meals for a patient on a low-calorie diet? What's your hardest thing to do?
Can you repeat that?
Do you have any, what are challenges that you have when you're preparing a tray for a patient on a low-calorie diet?
Well, it could be also what you face when you go upstairs.
Yeah,
Well, I
that's
think-
true.
Sometimes they order less, so you have to double the one item in there.
Okay.
And they won't order the same.
Or what we have on our fixed menu, they don't like.
Yeah.
Right, so you have to think of
And
things
so we gotta-
substitute.
Pull something out of the hat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or double.
And then if we cannot
What they
figure
do.
it out, we call the dietitian.
That was going to be my next question. When do you call Susan?
Yeah.
What kind of situations would you call Susan for?
When the patient
wanna
insists
eat.
the food what he wants.
When they insist and they're going to be a hard time? Yeah.
Especially if it's not in the order.
Okay.
Then, oh, I don't like this one, I want this food. So, you know, if you go back to the nurses or doctors, or we have to call the.
Yeah.
And then if they don't wanna eat,
Sometimes they
Yeah.
don't want to eat.
Okay, yep.
They don't want to eat.
Yeah, so we have to go back to the nurse station again. This patient doesn't want to eat.
Okay. Well, do you guys have any questions about the carb exchange or how to prepare meals for low-calorie meals for your patients? Anything you just want to clear up?
mostly we encounter high calorie.
What's that?
Mostly we encounter like high calorie count on
It's trying to
Okay.
get people to eat when they're
Okay.
sick.
Okay.
So that's a whole other lesson.
Yeah.
the.
Yeah. It's like the opposite.
I have a question, yeah, when I see a patient like on a carbohydrate, right,
Right.
so big,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
Do we follow the 4 or sometimes you do a concentration on that one, right? Sometimes you give 5 or it depends, so.
Oh, you mean increase their
Yeah, yeah.
carbohydrate? It depends on how hungry they are. If they're throwing a big fit, and it depends.
It depends.
Yes.
So usually you guys, and you go up in there and consult them and then you let us know if
If we
it's
need to
fine.
have 5, yes. So that would be something, if it just says consistent carb, then it's 4. But if you see somebody who's constantly hungry and having a bad time, let us know and then we can modify it.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's it. So thank you.
All right.
All right.
Good job. Now if you like, let me know.